And that's what started it was just me and Ozzy to start with, and then we got Randy over. Then it was three of us writing songs and auditioning drummers. But I didn't hear Kathy Rhodes. She did a little speech or something yesterday about the whole thing and
Yeah.
about Randy. But the thing is, I don't think I ever heard Randy mention her, and that they weren't particularly close. Well, at
Mm-mm.
that time, while he was around, and all of a sudden she knows all the history about the band and the music and that, and she wasn't there and had nothing to do with it.
It's crazy. The
Yeah,
whole
it is crazy. It
it,
is crazy.
it's almost like history was rewritten and some
Oh,
people were just washed away and
yes,
forgotten.
yes, deliberately rewritten the whole thing. And so there's so much. There are so many lies by so many people, inaccuracies, deliberate lies, rewriting of history, out and out bullshit. Some of it, it's just nonsense.
I,
But
you know,
that's what you get. Um, it fascinates me to see these big audiences, and they're all singing along, and they're singing my lyrics. So that's always, a real part of the job satisfaction. I remember when there was a huge festival in San Bernardino in the 80s called the Us Festival.
I
And
remember.
it's like the size of Woodstock, 400,000 or 500,000 people. And to see a sea of people and all singing along my lyrics, it was just wow, just mind blowing for me. That how do you do a huge thing at like the end of it all and not acknowledge the person who wrote the lyrics? That's. Well, when we
There's
had the original band and we did that first UK tour in 1980, we did a Sabbath medley at the end of the set, about four Sabbath songs: Paranoid, Iron Man. Did we do War Pigs? And there was about three or four songs of Sabbath that we did. But Randy didn't like playing Sabbath songs. He wasn't a fan of Black Sabbath.
That's wild.
Mm, yeah, he didn't. He wasn't into Sabbath at all.
That is wild. What was he into, Randy? What was his thing?
Oh, well, one of his favorite guitarists was Leslie West from Mountain. One of his favorite albums was a Uriah Heep album,
Well,
Demons and Wizards, so, which was nice for Lee being in the band because
yeah.
he'd been the drummer on that album. So, yeah, it was like mutual respect. The band wasn't formed on paper or out of politics or anything. As soon as we started playing together, like the first time that Randy and I played together at Ozzy's place, we both knew because at the end of the first, how long ever we played, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it was, we just sort of jammed around and had fun. And we said to each other virtually at the same time, nice playing, or I like you playing, or good playing, something like that. And we said it together to each other at the same time. So, and as soon as we got Lee, having had the band with just Ozzy and me and Randy to start with, auditioning drummers and writing songs at the same time. We went through so many drummers and just couldn't find the right guy. We had one more person to audition, and then the record company was saying, we need the product. If this guy is no good or he doesn't suit, we're going to have to put you in the studio with maybe a guest player, somebody like Cozy Powell or somebody like that. And we thought, no, we want the band complete. We don't want guest drummers or a session player. We want a real band member.
Hmm.
But as soon as Lee started playing, Randy and I looked at each other and here he is. This is the guy. Where have you been? Sort of like that. So it
I
was,
mean,
yeah, it all worked out just perfectly.
Lee's
It was meant to
signature.
happen, I think.
It was meant to happen. Over
Yeah,
the mountain. I mean, his signature drums, fills, and all.
yeah,
It just he was meant to be. You know, it was funny when Ozzy at the end of the show he mentioned, thanks to fans because without you guys, he wouldn't be able to live the lifestyle that he has been living. But I
yeah.
was actually thinking there's a lot of other reasons too that helped you live that lifestyle because at the time when Ozzy was going solo, nobody wanted to work with him. Am I incorrect on that?
Well,
At the end of
no,
Black
you're
Sabbath?
correct. And I was even warned against working with him. People in the business
Hmm.
said to me when I said I was going to go for another play with Ozzy and maybe we might get something together, they said, "Oh, stay away from him. He's finished. He's got kicked out of Sabbath for being out of his mind and non-productive, you know." But something in me told me, "You got to do this. You got to keep at this. It's there's something going to happen here." And I just had that feeling, you know. And as soon as I met Randy and we started working together, and it was Ozzy and Randy and me just putting songs together, putting the band together, it was all starting to click. And by the time we had the finished recording that first album, the Blizzard of Ozz, well, the band was called the Blizzard of Ozz as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
we kind of sat back and listened to what we'd done. We thought, well, we've done something special here. This is not your because don't forget at that time, 1980. Well, we started the band at the end of 79. 1980, we recorded that album. The stuff that was kind of in vogue or being promoted and listened to at the time was mostly, well, there was the punk thing that was new, there was the
Mhm.
new wave thing, and there was disco music, and that was the stuff that was in vogue at that time. And what we were playing, the hard rock stuff, was considered by many old hat or dinosaur music or what. But we thought, well, we're not going to not be ourselves. We just have to be ourselves and just do what we're good at and hope they like it. And so
That
that's what we did.
so you didn't wear the skinny ties and the Capezio shoes.
No,
You
no, but
didn't.
that's people do that. They jump on bandwagons. What's in? Oh, let's follow that trend like a bunch of sheep. You know, we didn't do that. We
No.
just we stayed ourselves. We're true to ourselves, and just fortunately, people did like what
N
we did.
You met Ozzy and you were doing
Hmm.
this. There was no contracts, nothing, no money. You're just putting a band together, just guys together. Let's just do this and see what
Oh,
happens.
Don Arden, who had Jet Records, he was
Mhm.
financing the the money for us to live off each week and paying for rehearsal rooms and paid for the album to be done. So that was Jet Records that put the dough up for the project to go ahead.
But Don Arden,
Yeah.
he was a tough guy too. I mean, legend
Oh yeah,
has it,
yeah.
you know,
He had that reputation of they used to call him the Al Capone of pop.
you wouldn't wanna mess with Don Arden at all.
No, no.
So, was there a little Morris Levy in Don Arden? Like, "Hey, kid, I'll give you this. You gotta give me back this." Was it like one of those things with that guy, or what was his whole story? I
Well, the
mean,
fellow, his name was Harry Levy. That was his real name.
that was his real
Yeah, yeah.
name.
Don Arden was just a sort of business stage name kind of thing. His real name was Harry Levy.
So Sharon got her toughness and her whole thing, it's in the blood. It's in the
Oh, it
blood.
is. Yeah, in the genes, in the upbringing, in the environment. Yeah.
Was, Sharon's brother, like, tough like that too, or he was
No, 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 no. David didn't really want to be in the business. I think he wanted to have a career in medicine or be a doctor or something like that. But he
like
was
a
kind of circumstantially brought into the business, and he bowed out when his wife had a premature baby, and which was when Sharon took over. Then it had been David Arden up until that point, and then David's wife had a baby prematurely, and it was a bit of a sensitive situation, so he bowed out and
mm,
Sharon took over. Sharon was just tour coordinator to start with. That was that was mentioned in the tour program
mhm.
as had Sharon Arden tour organizer, and that was it. That was her role at
Did
that
he
point.
did Don just basically just hand, you know what? I don't have time to deal with Ozzy. He's a wreck. You deal with him. Was it like that
Well, no,
afterwards?
it was Don was always the one that oversaw and made the final decisions,
Mm-hmm.
and the day-to-day stuff at the top. He was the governor.